This is Eric Herrenkohl. I lead the executive coaching and executive assessment practice for Achieve Next. We're a leadership consulting firm based outside of Philadelphia. We work nationwide. And in this A-player leadership coaching series that I'm putting together today, I want to talk about promoting our rock stars. Promoting our rock stars, meaning who are the top talent in our organizations who are really the future leaders of our business. And what does it look like to do a really good job with those folks? And anytime this topic comes up, I always think about a story, not a business story, but a cycling story that illustrates a really, really important point. So I'm into jiu-jitsu these days, but years ago, I was into riding road bikes. So I was a cyclist. And I used to live in St. Louis. I'm from the Philadelphia area originally, or from the region originally, but I lived for a number of years in the Midwest in St. Louis. And in St. Louis, I was with a group of friends, and we went across the Mississippi River into Southern Illinois. And there we were riding the river flats of Southern Illinois, very close, within a mile or so of the Mississippi River, flat as a pancake. And you could just sail on a bike for hours. And it was a tremendous place to ride. So it's early on a Saturday morning, and my friends and I clip into our bikes, and we make our way down to the river flats, and it's just farmland and farm roads as far as the eye can see. And so we're rolling down this road, and it's a beautiful day. And so we're all kind of riding in a pack. We're hanging out. We're probably going 20 miles an hour or so, really not even pedaling that hard. But anytime you're on a bike, you always pay attention to A, cars, and B, dogs. And we are in the middle of farmland. And I first hear, and then in a bit see, a pack of farm dogs barking and running after us. And when I say running after us, they're actually running parallel to us. They're about a quarter mile away, and they're running along the edge of the field, and we're riding on a road that's on the other edge of the field. So we continue to roll down the road, and the dogs continue to bark and run, but they're running parallel with us. They're never going to catch us. They can't really figure out that it's not really the best angle of attack to take. They don't figure that out, actually, until I see one dog literally pop its head up, look around, and then cuts the corner. Boom, and he changes direction. He's the only of the dogs to do this. He changes direction, cuts the angle, and all of a sudden, he's starting to close the gap between us and him. And then his buddies get on board, and they are following along with him as well. And all of a sudden, those of us in this pack look at the dogs, look at one another. We get up out of our bike saddles, and we sprint hard, 30 seconds at least, which is a long time to sprint on a bike, 30 miles an hour plus on these bikes. And we put the dogs finally way into our rearview mirror. It's a great story. It's a fun story, but it applies to leadership development this way. The few are always the key to the many. The fact is that dog pack was never going to get remotely close to us, its prey, unless one dog, not the whole pack, one dog figured it out and thought to himself or herself, you know what? Going this way, just doing it the way we've always been doing it is not going to get us where we want to be. I'm going to cut this angle. We're going to cut right across the field. And then that dog's friends followed. Our organizations are just the same. When we talk about innovation, and we talk about critical thinking, and we talk about generating new ideas, and we talk about new and innovative ways to serve customers, new and better ways to market and sell our products, that never happens by committee, ever. It always happens because one or two people generate a new idea or do something new and do something that works. And then the rest of the committee, the rest of the team sees it and says, that's great. We ought to do that. The few are always the key to the many. Listen, in our businesses, every person is important. And we'll likely talk about this in the future as well. everything that I talk about here has to be built on a foundation of respect and mutual trust with every human being with whom we work. Without trust, without respect, we've got nothing. None of these strategies work. And trust and respect are not things that we dole out to some and not to others. That's for everyone. Having said that, on top of that foundation of trust and respect, not everyone is created equally in terms of how our businesses move forward. And in fact, I would tell you that the 80-20 rule applies here as it applies in so many areas of life. You wouldn't necessarily want to lose any employee from your business. Well, maybe a few. But you could probably lose 70 to 80% of those people. And while it might be a challenge, you could fairly easily, somewhat easily replace them. However, you have 20% of employees in your business, 10% of employees in your business. If one of them left, it would be a major, major problem. Those few are the key to the many. So here's what I've done. I've actually generated 8 questions. I'm not going to talk about them all here just for the sake of time, but I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and then I'll post all 8 in the comments on LinkedIn. And these are questions just to provoke your own thinking and our own thinking about what are we doing with our rock stars, with our A players today. Question number 1. Which of your top performers has most surprised you pleasantly recently, and have you talked with them about it? Who's done something that really stood out to you? Maybe big, maybe small, but important. You noted it. It stuck out to you. Have you said anything to them about it? Because we all know that recognition, that fact that somebody who is in charge is actually noticing and is willing to provide that positive feedback, man, does that go a long way. That's question number 1. Question number 2, if your best people were to describe their ideal future with your business, how well would it map to the ideal future that you have in mind for that person? This is a very important question and one that deserves more time and attention. But briefly, I'll say this. If a key employee has a picture of success for themselves that does not match your picture of success for them, something's going to have to give. Either they're going to have to adjust their picture, you're going to have to adjust their picture, or you're going to have an employee who feels suboptimized. And A players hate to be suboptimized. They are hungry to move to the next level. So that conversation and having clarity in your own mind about what success looks like and making sure that your employee shares that picture is very, very important. I hope these questions are helpful for you. As I said, I'll put the rest of them in the LinkedIn post, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.